Japanese homes almost never smell like mold, while so many houses elsewhere stay damp no matter what people try. Today, we are breaking down more than 12 cheap methods that stop humidity without buying an expensive dehumidifier. These tricks come from centuries of home building in Japan, and they still work perfectly in modern houses anywhere in the world. Every single one costs very little money, and most of them use materials you can already find nearby. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why your walls, floors, and closets keep trapping moisture. You will also learn simple swaps that let your entire home breathe on its own. Let's start with the very first thing that causes most indoor mold problems, which is your walls themselves. Most homes use paint that seals moisture tightly against the wall surface. That trapped moisture sits quietly behind the paint for months before mold ever becomes visible. Japanese builders solved this problem long ago with a special lime wash called shikui, made from hydrated lime mixed with water.
This mixture creates a surface with a very high pH level, which mold spores simply cannot survive on. Any spore landing on that wall has almost no chance of growing into a real colony. Lime is also naturally porous, which means the wall itself can absorb moisture when the air feels damp. Later, it slowly releases that same moisture back once the air becomes dry again. This creates a wall that manages humidity by itself without any machine running in the background. People have used similar lime mixtures since ancient Rome, long before modern dehumidifiers existed. You can find hydrated lime at most hardware or farm supply stores for a very small price. Mixing it with water until it feels like thick paint is really all you need to begin. Adding a small amount of salt helps the mixture harden properly as it slowly dries on the wall. Applying 2 thin coats works much better than 1 thick, heavy coat of lime wash. Thin coats bond more evenly and are far less likely to crack over time. This single fix can transform a musty, damp corner within just a few days. Once the walls can breathe properly, the next area worth examining is the floor beneath your feet. Traditional Japanese homes use woven mats called tatami, made from a plant called igusa rushgrass. Each strand contains tiny sponge-like cells that constantly absorb and release moisture throughout the day. A single tatami mat can hold a surprising amount of water before it becomes fully saturated. This means the floor itself works quietly to reduce humidity in the room above it. Full tatami flooring is not always practical in modern apartments or Western-style homes. However, smaller tatami panels exist and can be placed under a bed or in a closet corner. Even one panel helps break up the pockets of still, damp air that build up overnight. The same basic idea applies to almost anything you place inside your rooms. Swapping synthetic rugs for wool versions allows natural fibers to absorb moisture more effectively. Choosing cotton curtains instead of polyester ones follows this exact same breathable principle. Solid wood furniture behaves the same way, slowly interacting with moisture in the surrounding air. The general idea is that every surface in a room can help manage humidity somewhat. Instead of blocking airflow, breathable materials work with the room instead of against it. This simple mindset shift changes how you might choose furniture and textiles going forward. Now let's talk about small enclosed spaces like closets, drawers, and cabinets under sinks. These tight spaces often become the first place where musty smells start appearing. The Japanese solution here involves a special type of charcoal called binchitan. This white charcoal comes from oak wood, burned slowly inside covered kilns at extremely high temperatures. The resulting charcoal becomes so dense that 2 pieces almost sound like metal when tapped together. Inside that dense structure exists a honeycomb pattern of microscopic pores. Those tiny pores are incredibly effective at pulling water molecules directly from surrounding air. People have hung binchitan charcoal inside closets and drawers for several hundred years. It works similarly to those small silica packets found inside vitamin bottles or shoe boxes. The major difference is that a single charcoal piece can keep working for several years straight. When the charcoal starts feeling heavier than usual, that simply means it absorbed plenty of moisture already. Placing it outside under direct sunlight for a few hours dries it out completely again. This recharging process lets you reuse the exact same piece over and over again. A bag of quality charcoal typically costs far less than replacing disposable moisture-absorbing bags every month. Even ordinary hardwood charcoal from a grocery store contains a similar porous structure inside. Wrapping a few pieces inside an old cotton sock creates a simple, homemade version instantly. Hanging that small sock inside a damp closet corner works using the exact same absorption principle. There are a few more traditional materials worth mentioning before moving into ventilation habits. Rice husks and straw were historically used as flooring insulation in many older Japanese homes. These natural fibers absorbed excess ground moisture before it ever reached living spaces above. While uncommon today, the underlying concept still influences modern breathable flooring choices. More recently, Japanese manufacturers developed drywall panels coated with diatomite, a naturally porous mineral material. This modern material absorbs humidity similarly to traditional lime, but works inside contemporary wall systems. These panels have slowly become available in stores across the United States and parts of Europe. If you compare typical dehumidifier costs against these natural material-based solutions, the difference becomes obvious quickly. A basic electric dehumidifier often costs significantly more upfront, plus ongoing electricity every single month. Materials like lime, charcoal, and cedar cost far less and require zero electricity to function. They simply sit quietly, working around the clock without ever needing a power outlet nearby. Every material discussed so far shares one common purpose inside your home. Each one helps manage humidity passively without requiring constant effort from you. Walls that breathe, floors that absorb, charcoal that resets, and wood that resists bacteria all work together. None of these methods require expensive equipment or complicated installation processes at all. Most involve items you could realistically find within a single afternoon of shopping. Understanding why each material works makes it much easier to apply these ideas yourself. You start noticing moisture problems before they ever become visible mold colonies. This awareness alone puts you ahead of most typical homeowners dealing with dampness. In the next part, we shift focus toward airflow, seasonal rituals, and simple household habits. These remaining methods focus less on materials and more on daily behavior patterns. Together, both parts create a complete picture of how traditional homes stay naturally dry. Stick around, because the second half includes some surprisingly simple daily habits. Most modern homes place windows only on one side of a room, which limits how air can move through the space. Traditional Japanese houses deliberately position windows directly across from each other on opposite walls. This layout allows a breeze entering one side to travel straight through and exit the other side. The entire room exchanges its stale air for fresh air within just a few minutes. Even modern apartments in Japan try to preserve this same opposite window arrangement whenever possible. People open both sets of windows for around 15 minutes every single day, even during colder months. This might feel counterintuitive, since cold air often feels less inviting than staying sealed indoors. However, cold outdoor air actually holds far less moisture than warm, stale indoor air ever does. Japanese homes also include small windows placed higher up, closer to the ceiling itself. Warm, humid air naturally rises toward the ceiling as temperatures increase throughout the day. Having an exit point higher up allows that moisture-heavy air to escape more efficiently. Most Western homes only place windows at eye level, trapping humid air near the ceiling permanently. You do not need to remodel your home to benefit from this same basic principle. Simply find two windows on opposite ends of your house and open them together. Running a bathroom fan at the same time creates a small pressure difference that pulls air through faster. Propping open a few interior doors helps that air travel more freely between different rooms. This costs absolutely nothing and takes only 15 minutes out of your entire day. There is a specific word in Japanese for this daily airing out ritual called kanki. It roughly translates to air exchange, and many households treat it as a morning habit. Schools, hotels, and older generations have followed this same practice for a very long time. The idea rests on a simple fact that stale air always carries yesterday's moisture inside it. That moisture comes from cooking, showering, breathing, and simply living inside a closed space. Swapping that air for fresh air matters more than worrying about outdoor temperature at all. Homes that stay sealed too tightly for energy efficiency often develop unexpected moisture problems over time. Airtight construction traps humidity inside just as effectively as it traps heat inside. A home that never exchanges its air essentially becomes a closed container that moisture cannot escape. This is part of why traditional Japanese homes rarely developed serious mold problems long term. Something else worth noticing involves how furniture gets placed inside a typical Japanese room. Large pieces of furniture are almost never pushed flush against a wall surface. There is usually a small gap of a few centimeters behind every large piece. This gap allows air to circulate freely behind furniture instead of getting trapped there. You can recreate this easily by pulling your couch a few inches away from the wall. Cracking closet doors open slightly during the night also allows trapped air to escape gradually. Running a small fan inside any room that feels stuffy helps circulate air continuously. Bathroom exhaust fans deserve special attention since many people only run them during an actual shower. Japanese bathrooms typically run their exhaust fan continuously rather than only while someone showers. Running your fan for at least 30 minutes after every shower removes far more lingering moisture. Older fans also tend to move much less air than newer models available today. Airflow habits work well most of the year, but certain seasons bring much higher humidity levels. Japan experiences a specific rainy season called tsuyu, lasting roughly 6 weeks during early summer. Humidity levels during this season often climb dramatically higher than during any other time of year. This is exactly when mold becomes a much more serious concern if habits slip. Japanese households built an entire seasonal routine specifically around managing this challenging period. Traditional sleeping mats called futons get folded up and hung outside every single morning. Direct sunlight exposure helps eliminate mold spores and dust mites hiding within the fabric. A single night of sleep transfers a surprising amount of moisture from your body into bedding. Left unaddressed, that trapped moisture can allow mold to develop within just a few weeks. Most people today sleep on a mattress rather than a traditional Japanese futon. However, the exact same underlying principle still applies regardless of what you sleep on. Pulling sheets off your bed once a week allows the mattress underneath to breathe properly. Opening bedroom windows during this process helps moisture escape rather than settling back down again. Leaning your mattress against a wall occasionally and running a fan speeds up this drying process. Placing pillows or blankets in direct sunlight for a couple of hours also helps tremendously. Sunlight exposure achieves something that a regular clothes dryer simply cannot replicate at all. This same underlying logic extends into closets during particularly humid months as well. Leaving closet doors slightly open allows trapped humid air to escape more easily overall. When mold does eventually appear despite every precaution, the cleaning method you choose matters significantly. Many people reach immediately for bleach the moment they spot any visible mold growth. Bleach unfortunately only removes surface coloring without actually killing roots growing underneath materials. This means mold frequently returns within just a couple weeks in that exact same spot. White vinegar works through a completely different process compared to standard bleach products. Vinegar actually penetrates porous surfaces like wood, drywall, and grout much more effectively. This allows it to destroy underlying root structures rather than simply masking surface discoloration temporarily. Spraying vinegar directly onto affected areas and leaving it without rinsing allows continued protection afterward. For particularly stubborn mold cases, mixing a natural mineral compound into hot water creates a stronger solution. Scrubbing this mixture into affected areas, and again leaving it unrinsed, prevents future regrowth effectively. This approach also happens to discourage insects from settling in the same treated areas. Finally, one of the simplest household items worth mentioning is ordinary salt sitting in most kitchens. Japanese households often place coarse salt inside shallow wooden boxes or small ceramic dishes. These containers get tucked into naturally damp corners throughout different areas of the home. Salt pulls moisture directly out of surrounding air through a natural chemical process. Over several weeks, you can literally watch salt crystals slowly dissolve into liquid brine. Once that container fills up, you simply pour it out and dry the remaining salt completely. That same dried salt can then get reused again inside the very same container. Beyond simply absorbing moisture, concentrated salt also prevents nearby mold spores from successfully germinating nearby. This exact chemistry explains why salt has preserved food safely for countless centuries throughout history. This same basic idea works particularly well inside pantries, storage closets, and enclosed cabinets. Speaking of pantries, food storage habits also directly influence humidity levels inside your kitchen.
Garlic and potatoes naturally release moisture constantly while sitting in storage. Storing these items inside sealed plastic bags creates a small, humid microclimate around them. Japanese households instead store these vegetables inside mesh bags or open woven baskets. This allows continuous air circulation, preventing that trapped, humid microclimate from ever forming. Making this simple storage swap costs absolutely nothing and takes only a few extra minutes. Taken together, all these habits create a home that manages moisture naturally throughout every single day. None of them require expensive equipment, complicated installation, or constant ongoing maintenance whatsoever. Small, consistent daily actions prevent problems long before they ever become visible or expensive to fix.